From Mrs. Brown's Boys. What is it about you? I saw you two, and it's like, because anyone who watches Mrs. Brown's Boys will know there's an element of chaos around that all the time. It always feels like something is...
On or off.
You never know what's going to happen.
Is it really like that?
Oh, you never know what's going to come up.
It's part of the joy of the programme.
Well, it's part of the joy of what... I think it's why we do it, for the chaos. Because I have to tell you, it's the most fun job I've ever had.
So for anyone who hasn't seen it, there might be someone out there.
There might be somebody out there, yeah.
Just tell them what it is, what the programme's about, and why you think it's just so popular, because it's becoming a popular part
I
of the
think what the
TV
programme is
schedules.
about is why it's so popular. I think because it's about a dysfunctional family. And we all think that our own family is the only family that's bonkers. And we all think, well, thank God nobody else has a brother like him, or nobody else has a sister like her. But actually, we're all quite the same. So it's that kind of dysfunctional family led by a woman who thinks that they're all still 5 years of age.
Right.
She doesn't treat them any other than their children. And yet, at the same time, you kind of know, you know, if one of the kids were to murder somebody, she would be absolutely disappointed, but would help them bury the body.
So, you were just saying, you've been together quite a long time, right?
Yeah, over 20 years.
24 years.
So can you remember a time before Mrs. Brown existed? And can you remember the time when you first saw Brendan as Mrs. Brown?
Yes, well, the first time I saw Brendan as Mrs. Brown was actually the first night we did it live on stage, because we didn't have time to do a full dress rehearsal. So the very first time I actually saw him as Mrs. Brown was when he rounded the top of the stairs, and it was like, OK, let's go on. So it was a bit of a shock.
Had you seen him dressed up as a woman before?
Never, Naga.
Well, that's a very dangerous question, Naga. That is a very dangerous
you know,
question.
as I asked it, I kind of wish I
It does get confusing at home, you know, with, you know, who's your mammy, But listen, it's a marriage made in heaven. We get to work together and we get to live together.
Well, you say that's a marriage made in heaven. Some people wouldn't like all of that time together.
Yeah, well, if you're going to tour the likes of Australia or New Zealand and you're going to be away from home for 12 weeks, it makes it a lot easier when you're together.
Yeah.
And we get to bring all the kids and the grandkids with us as well, so...
Because of all the family in the show.
And Brendan, where did the idea come to kind of demystify some of the idea of the kind of sitcom thing, where it's almost like you draw the audience into a bit of the fun you're having behind the scenes? Where did that all come about?
It's because it's what we used to do.
In the live show?
Yeah, Mrs. Brown was a live show, a theatre show, long before it became a TV show. I think we were on our fourth live show, our fourth version of the live show before we got anywhere near TV. And I remember at the time, Stephen McCrum, there was two things I remember really well. Stephen McCrum said to me when he was our producer from BBC, and he said, I said, just let the cameras run. If somebody makes a mistake, you know, we'll go with it.
The lines, all that kind of thing, just little bits.
And he said, well, Brendan, I said, yes, the sitcom format was invented for a reason. I said, I know, yeah, but let's break it. You know, let's smash it up a bit. That was the first thing. The second was an executive, I can't remember his name, thank God, from BBC. When he was reading the script, he said, I see, who's Bob? He seems to be in it quite a lot, and he doesn't seem to have any lines. He's going through the script. I said, Bob? I said, show me. And he said, just here. And it was a bit of business, B-O-B for a bit of business. And he said, what is that? I said, it's a bit of business. And what will that be? I said, well, you know, if the doorbell rings and Mrs. Brown's in the kitchen, between the time she goes from the kitchen to the door, there'll be a bit of business. And he said, all right, what'll that be? I said, I don't know. He said, well, when will we know? I said, when the doorbell rings. So they went with it. They just said...
Is that your personality anyway? And perhaps you're in a better place to tell me this, Jenny. A bit, you know, to just not be prescriptive, to not have rules. Is that...
It's a bit unpredictable.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what it brings it into the live show. And we never know when we go out there. You always have to be on your toes because you never know what's going to be thrown at you.
Do you know what? There was just... the cameras wouldn't have got this. The most lovely thing you just did. Jenny was talking, and you just stroked the back of her hair. As you were I bet you didn't even know. It's 24 years. And look at that.
After 24 years, she knows that's the sign. Shut up.
Any other signs we need to look out for? Now? What else do we need to look out for?
She's doing one right now.
Okay. What's that?
Squeezing my leg. She's nervous.
Oh.
Squeezing my leg. She's nervous.
Do you get nervous coming in? Do you know, just on the thought you were saying, as we well know on this programme, people do love it when things go wrong. Yeah. And I mean, that's the nature of what we do, of course, live
But we all
broadcasting,
love looking at bloopers from any programme. We love to see when things go wrong. So why would you take out the funniest part of something?
Yeah, that was the kind of the argument I made. You know, when Stephen McCrum said, let's, you know, let's not do it. I said, well, look, I said, there's a reason why people watch it. It'll be all right in the night and stuff like that. I said, let's just leave it in. And I think the very first one I did was, because I was quite surprised, was the opening scene of the very first pilot, when we were doing the pilot, and Mrs. Brown had an argument with Maria, with Dermot, and as he'd leaving, he went, Mum, what did you do that for? And she said, and as he left, Agnes went, I'm your mother. And the audience all went, oh. And I went, it's a man in a dress. Because I go, you can't do that to a man in a dress. And that was where it started, and that anything can go wrong.
Do people expect you both to be funny all the time?
Yeah. Well, yes, but at the same time, I expect myself to be funny. The problem I have, and one of the things that Jenny probably hates about me, is that I don't take anything serious. Honestly, I don't take anything serious. I have fun no matter where I go, and when people say to me, how are you doing? I say, I'm doing great. If I was any better, I'd be embarrassed.
We meet a lot of comedians. We're very lucky, but
I know they're all depressed.
yeah,
I know. Yeah.
Well, depressed maybe goes a bit far, but they're very morose.
It's the tears of a clown thing, which is maybe a bit of a cliche, but there is something in there, isn't there?
I think sometimes they pretend to be like that because that makes them one of the greats.
Really?
Do you know what I mean?
Like having a backstory.
Yeah,
I remember calling somebody in the BBC about another comedian who was a friend of mine. They said, he's a bit down, and he said, well, they all are. And I said, really? He said, oh yes, we're just waiting for you to go down. Well, sorry, you'll have to wait.
Do you get people saying, I know someone exactly like Mrs. Brown? Do you get that much?
Yeah.
In the most surprising places.
Go on.
Mrs. Brown.
Yes, there's a couple of people who
Are you allowed to name them, or will they no longer be friends?
Well, no, I'm not allowed to name them. But my son's mother-in-law, Greta, who in Northern Ireland, she's definitely one of them, because she has her own.
You're getting your son into trouble.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting her into trouble. She has her own sayings. So she the fly swat. We all call that a fly swat. She calls it a flapper. She's from Northern Ireland, from Donegal. She calls it a flapper, and she would say things to me like, I had to get a scrub out this morning, trying to get the flies out of my flapper. And you just don't know what to say. I just go, okay. And Jenny's mum as well is a great font of.
He loves to do that on stage. He loves to drop in something that my own mother would say when I'm not expecting it, because he knows that makes me go.
The two of you will know that.
Yeah.
She says something like, Mommy, look, just try and keep. And I'll say, I just want everybody to get on. And that's Jenny's mum down to a T.
That's everyone's mum.
Yeah.
What would you like for Christmas, Mum? I just want everybody to get on for Christmas.
She's going to
What
get
a
it.
nice sentiment that is, anyway. Lovely to see you both here.
great to
And the
be
body
here.
language thing is fascinating. I've been
love
watching
it.
that very
I'm
closely.
loving
Well, we're very, very lucky. We've had a great tour of the UK this year. We finished in Sheffield. We open in Sheffield tonight for the last part of the tour, but it's been extended a year, and we go to places that we've never been before, like Blackpool and Hull. We've never done the show there.
Bournemouth.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Does
Back to
anyone ever come
yeah.
to the show dressed up?
Yeah.
Dressed as...
As Mrs.
Yes.
Brown, yeah.
Really?
You get a few weirdos, yeah.
Well, you call it... Maybe they're just fans.
No, they're weird. They have to get a train and a bus. We get a couple of people coming to the backstage door with flowers. We've had a couple of
Mrs.
elderly
Brown.
gentlemen coming with flowers.
Oh, gentlemen for Mrs. Brown.
Yeah, they want to take her out for
So
dinner.
our instructions to security are just to say, well, she doesn't stay after the show, but thank you very much, I'll pass them on. We never say to them, listen, it's a man in a dress.
No, don't.
No.
But maybe they like that. Everyone likes
Really
that.
lovely
See, Nadia,
seeing
you
today.
have that kind of... I noticed that about you. You have those weird thoughts.
Always.
Lovely seeing you here this morning.
Great to be here. Thank
too,
you.
guys. Thank you very
You heard
much.
about the tour. Mrs. Brown Boys' Christmas special is going to be on BBC One on Christmas Day at 10:30 in the evening.